Hey everybody, how are you today? Welcome to the channel. It's the big show here with Bruce, traveling with Bruce. I got my sign up this week with my logo over there and my logo on the screen over there, and I got the logo on my shirt today. So we got the sextant out today, going nice and strong, uh, and it's been one of our most popular logos that the channel's ever had. If you ever want to get your own T-shirt like this with these logos, you can find them. Just go to the homepage of this channel. Hit the there's a link probably way up here at the top of my homepage, which is Redbubble, and then you'll find the shirts, different colors. There's probably 30 colors of T-shirts available with this logo on it, and all kinds of other merchandise, coffee cups and travel mugs and telephone covers and you name it. I can always support the channel doing that. Thank you all for joining me today. It's Bruce here from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where it was absolutely clear blue skies this morning when we started our day. There wasn't a cloud anywhere. We are now completely overcast. And this weatherman says we're supposed to be clear for the next 3 days. I don't know where this came from. This is not from a forest fire. This is a maritime front that has snuck in on us, and it looks like we might get a shower. I don't know how and why, but we might get ourselves some shower activity. And looking here at this map of Western Canada and Calgary, I mean, here we are right here. That's us down there where it says 75 degrees. And look at all those clouds up there. And just to the west of us, you can see they sort of popped up this afternoon. I don't mind this stuff up here. See that up there? That is putting out forest fires. That's okay any old time. I know that in Eastern Canada, the United States, there's Montreal, Toronto. That is a lot of shower activity, and boy, do they need it in Quebec and Eastern Canada badly. Get rain over to my friends in America and clean that air up would be just great. So I hope the weather is okay where you are. Hope you're doing all right. Welcome to the show. Got some news today about a number of different things. I'm going to talk to you today about. Did you guys see the footage of this freak storm that hit Port Canaveral? The independence of the seas looked like it was just going out into the ocean, heading out of port when this freak storm showed up. I mean, loungers were flying in the air. I mean, I got some photos. Anyway, terrible. We got some news here on Royal Caribbean. I've got some news from the Bahamas. I have some news from Europe today for you, and I have some news from Carnival today. And I found a couple of cruises that you might want to consider going forward. You might be interested in these cruises coming up. They're sort of repositioning with a little bit extra added, so there might be something to that. We'll talk about all of that. First of all, thank you to those of you who've been giving this show thumbs ups already, as you do every week. Thank you. We love to hit 100 thumbs ups on this little telecast. There are usually 40 to 60 people watching this show. It fluctuates, and you're all welcome here. And a lot of people who watch this show, actually what I say 40 to 60, I mean live. There are then the rerunners who watch this show, the folks who watch this show tonight, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. And that pops the viewership of this show to like 900 people. It's phenomenal. So those of you giving us a thumbs ups, I thank you very much. If you can hit that thumbs up button right now, get me going on the way to 100. That would be absolutely terrific. We usually hit 100 thumbs ups every week on this show. It is just amazing how it happens. And it's the rerunners that do it. The folks watching afterwards, they come in and absolutely jump in there. We're at 32 already, by the way. 32 thumbs up. We're almost a third of the way to 100, and I'm only 5 minutes in. I haven't even done anything yet. So thank you, those of you who just automatically hit that thumbs up button, giving the show a bit of momentum. I appreciate it. It actually brings more people to the channel because of reruns. Like, they find me tonight, tomorrow. YouTube will recommend people. You want news on cruise ships? Oh, you got to watch Bruce on TWB, and that's how they find us. So thank you for helping out. Sharon is in the house today. How you doing there, Sharon? Hi from a very wet central New Jersey, just like I was showing on that map. The author won't be with us tonight. He's in Vegas for the World Series of Poker. I hope he does well. Welcome. Stephen Butler, number 7. I'm in the house. I went to Moccasin Creek Festival in Effingham, Illinois. Drove up last Wednesday, and I drove back today. Highest gas I paid was $3.44 a gallon. The lowest I paid $3.04. Big shade trees on the festival grounds. Very nice. And it's hot in Arkansas. Welcome, Stephen, to the show. I hope the author wins a bracelet at the World Series of Poker. Diane Flowers is here. Hello, Diane. Hello from all from cloudy Delaware. It's 85 degrees, waiting for the storm. Gas is $3.29. And I'm number 2 on that thumbs up meter. Thank you. Ken Koreka is here with Janet. Hi, Bruce, and all from Janet and Ken in Saginaw, Michigan. The temperature is 70 degrees with much needed rain showers. Here, still have air quality issues from fires in Quebec. Gasoline $3.32, and we're number 11 on that thumbs up meter. Number 11. We're at 75, 76 degrees here. We're going to be in the high 70s, low 80s the next week for very nice weather here. Jeannie Lavinghouse is here. Hello, Bruce and all TWBers. Bill and Jeannie are here for the big show from East Tennessee. Currently 81 degrees here, getting into the 90s in a couple of days. Hello, summer. Yes, summer has arrived, hasn't it? Welcome, Shady Hill Homestead. Hey, Bruce, I am lucky number 13 tonight. Robert Mailhout is here. Good evening, everybody. I believe I'm thumbs up number 14 today. Sharon, Stephen Butler, thanks. I'm just hoping that he buys me a nice bracelet. G.I. Lewis, how you doing there? Bruce, hello. I like your Traveling with Bruce logo. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Tim Bowman, greetings from a sunny Eatonville with terrific views of Mount Rainier tonight. Gas is now the highest in the nation. I've seen regular at $5.49 US a gallon in the Seattle area. Now, why is that? Why is Seattle sitting at $5.50 a gallon when around many areas of America it's under $3 now? In Texas, I'm sure it's under $3 in certain areas. Tim, I don't understand, why is it so high? Thumbs up number 14 at least, says Tim. Thank you. Stephen Butler, Sharon, if he wins a bracelet, he will be able to buy you a something nicer than that. Kirk Brunson, welcome, sir. Hi there, Bruce and TW family. Kirk from the Big Apple is here tonight. Thumbs up number 17. Kirk Brunson's YouTube and Facebook channel. Thank you, my friend. Lee Shear is in the house from, I believe it's Boca Raton, Florida. I'm not mistaken. Welcome, Lee. But he's in Sarasota tonight. Welcome, sir. Number 18. I hope you're doing well. We are indeed, Lee. Thank you for being here tonight. Very loyal to the cause. Ms. M. Hey, Bruce and all. How's it going? I'm number 9 tonight. Janice Gregory, I saw on Facebook. Rocky Grasso, number 27. Sharon, Stephen Butler, laugh out loud. That's true. If he does, get one of those, he can get me anything. Ann Rogers, number 34. Welcome. Nikki Singleton, greetings, everyone. 90 degrees now in Jacksonville. Mid-90s for the rest of the week. Hello, summer. Sandy Robinson, hi, Bruce, and TWB family from a very hot Medicine Hat, Alberta. Waiting for a band to play. Way to go, Sandy. I hope you're getting better and better. Paper City Gamer Jeff. Hi, everybody. How you doing, pal? Welcome to the show tonight. Stephen Butler. Typo when I posted above for Effingham, Illinois, and Sharon meant he could buy you a nice bracelet with that. Donnell, hi, Bruce and all TWB fans. Donnell Mahoney is here from Cork, Ireland. I am number 37. Thumbs ups and enjoying the show. Thank you, my friend. And that's a great photo of a great shirt you got there, buddy. Way to go. Tim Bowman, Washington State taxes. That's why it's so expensive. That is incredible to me. Double D, number 37, Texas. We're in Texas. We're pushing 100s around here. Unbelievable. I know Texas has been in a real hot wave for weeks now. Yikes. I say yikes to that. Well, let me tell you, kids, it's warm. It's smoky in some areas of the world. North America, we've had the forest fire issues. But I got to tell you, it's been wild. By the way, Alan Carter's here. Thank you, Alan from Calgary. How you doing, pal? And Ms. M, gas in the Lower Mainland. It's around $2 in Canadian per liter. That is $7.40 a U.S. gallon Canadian. That's $5-something bucks. Unbelievable. Here, it's $1.30 a liter at Costco. 70 cents a liter less. So, $1.30 a liter, man, that's $4.50 Canadian, maybe. 3-something US, $3.50 US. Unbelievable how the difference is. Isn't that something? Look at these photos. Let me show you some stuff here. This is unbelievable. These photos here were taken a few days ago in Port Canaveral. Check this one out. Where's this photo right here? Yeah, look at this photo right here. Here's a woman carrying a baby in her arms rather than in her stroller. In her stroller, she has a backpack, and she is heading to the left there underneath that cover, that roof, because the winds are really picked up. People were being blown over by this freak storm, and I think this photo here is another one of that chair. See the middle photo of that chair? Look at the people on the left. They couldn't walk. They were on the upper level, and they're sitting down, and behind them on the left there, all those chairs have flipped over. Here's one that's coming down in the middle, as I said before, and then over on the right is another shot of people falling over and chairs having fallen down from the upper deck. It's scary. This series of photos here, that photo on the left is the same photo of the woman carrying that baby. The chair fell on the stroller. If the kid was in there, yikes. Can you imagine? And look at the shot on the right there. There's one of those chairs falling over, coming over the top, just being picked up and flying over. All the umbrellas down below have toppled over. Those have weights on them at the bottom. Those are really weighed down. They just got blown over like you can't believe. Here's another shot here of some of the carnage. Look at down below, all the stuff that's been knocked over. And on top, some of those loungers are upside down. They've all been tossed everywhere. It was crazy, just a crazy storm. This here is another image of sort of the aftermath. Things have calmed down, and some people were being checked out for scuffs and scrapes and bruises. According to the cruise line, nobody was seriously hurt in the event, but boy, this photo here says it all, where this woman had no idea that chair was coming down at her. She did not know that she was directly in the path of this chair coming right, that lounger coming right on that stroller. If her baby had been in there, it could have been terrible, absolutely terrible, unbelievable. That was wild. That was like 3-4 days ago. I know that cruise ships, they go through the water at decent speed. Once they're in open water, they can reach 23 knots, 24 knots. That's almost 28 to 30 miles an hour. So, you're on a cruise ship. It's in the evening. You're on the promenade deck, and you kind of lean over a little bit. The wind is going to hit you. I mean, you're going to feel the breeze. It's a warm breeze, but nonetheless. But if the ship is going into the wind, and the wind is 15 miles an hour, and you're going 30, now it's a 45 mile an hour breeze. degrees. Now, Jennifer and I were on one ship known as the Explorer of the Seas for a cruise that left Bayonne, New Jersey, to go down to the Caribbean, and we were supposed to go all the way down to Haiti, and we were supposed to go to the private resort that they have down there, that private getaway. The name escapes me at the moment. And we ran into a storm about 3 hours into our cruise, going south of New York. We were in the Atlantic, heading straight south. It was March, and one of these storms was coming up north, and that storm hit. That storm caused havoc, ultimately in Philadelphia, New York, Boston. I mean, feet and feet of snow, a blizzard. But when we got to it, it was the middle of the night, and the next day we hit this thing head on, and the winds coming at us were 60 to 80 miles an hour, and we were heading at 30 miles an hour into it. This ship is big, the Explorer of the Seas, but the captain had to slow down the ship because the wave action, and we were going side to side and up and down all at the same time. This is not good for cruising. He had to slow the ship down to take some of the impact off the passengers who were just getting sick as dogs. But when we got through that storm, the next day, when things calmed down considerably, we were in the clear. But we couldn't make it to our stop in Haiti. We couldn't get to the private resort, and at the moment, the name escapes me. If anybody wants to tell me the name of that Labadee, thank you, Sharon. It's Labadee, the private beach in Haiti. We couldn't get to it on time. The way when we slowed down, we lost precious time to make it there. And the captain said, at the present pace, the way it's going, we're going to get there at 5 in the afternoon instead of at 7 in the morning. That's how many hours we lost. So we lost Labadee completely. So what he did then was he slowed the ship down even more. We were in calm water, much calmer water, and we were in 80-degree weather now. The storm was past. It was north of us. We were south of the storm. And we had a day at sea instead of a day on shore. And then we got to our destination, which was in Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico, to be exact. So we had 48 hours of sea time, and it was glorious. It was very nice and clear sky. The weather after the blizzard was great, and we were fine. But when we got back to Bayonne, New Jersey, a week and a bit later, it was a 9 or 10-day cruise. When we got back, the snow that they got, you could tell the plows had been working since we were gone, because there was no snow in Bayonne when we left. It was 65 degrees when we left Bayonne, New Jersey. It was a gorgeous day, but crap was coming. And sure enough, they got hit, and there were mounds of snow everywhere throughout that area. But what are you going to do? These ships, they're designed to go through it. What can I say? All right. Thank you, everybody. Let's see here. Ms. M, this is criminal. The difference between BC and Alberta gas prices is criminal. Let's see. Jason is here. Good evening, Lakeland, Florida. Your competition tonight is Monday Night Raw and soccer qualifying. Oh, welcome, Kirk Brunson, YouTube and Facebook channel. I love C Days. I do enjoy C Days as well, because it's kind of neat being on a moving machine like this. It's really kind of neat. I love going for nice walks on the promenade decks, and just enjoying the sea views. I really love it. It's fantastic. What year was your Explorer of the Seas cruise, Sharon? I bet I can remember the specific storm. I think it was, let me just think about this, 2012 or 13. I'm gonna guess 2012 maybe. It was a nasty one. What happened was the storm was supposed to come up through the Carolinas and through Virginia. But what happened instead was the storm went east over the Atlantic and then came north uninhibited. And we were going right through it. There was no way to get around it. We couldn't go out to the mid-Atlantic and then go around this thing. There was no time. We left New York Harbor. The water was glass. The downtown Manhattan, the skyscrapers were reflecting off the water. It was stunning how absolutely calm it was. So wonderful. And then all hell broke loose. But he told us, the captain told us, he said, folks, we're going to get out of here. And as soon as we go under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, once we get through that, we'll be out into open sea. He said, we're going to crank the accelerator here and we're going to run the ship as fast as she can go because we want to go as far south as we can before we encounter the storm, because the storm is getting stronger and we want to catch it before it gets to its worst size. And he said, we should hit the front of the storm. You should begin to feel it with some tremors and so on by about midnight. And so Jennifer and I were crossing our fingers and we were hoping that by the time midnight rolled around, we would be fast asleep and that we would wake up the next morning at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning and that we would be through most of it. That was our hope. We hit it at midnight, as he said, but we slept. We were asleep at the time, as we thought we'd be. But we woke up at 6:37 in the morning, and I could not get to the bathroom without keeping my hands out to put my hands on the wall of my cabin. We had an inside room, which was also, we dreaded that. Got to the bathroom, and you can put one hand on one wall and one hand on the other. And I'm standing over top of the urinal, the toilet, trying to do my thing. And then working my way back. And I just came right back into bed and I just lay down again. And I found that if I would lay on my right side, I wouldn't feel too good. If I laid on my back, I wouldn't feel too good. But if I laid on my left side, I felt okay. It was the weirdest thing. And we waited until about 8:15, and every hour the captain would come on after 6 in the morning with an announcement, an update. And he was updating us on just, it's pretty bad. And we're hitting 40-foot waves. The wind is now 60 miles an hour at us. We're going 20, 25 into it. We've closed the decks, like the outdoor swimming pool and the outdoor running track, and the all shut down. You could not go outside. They told all the balcony passengers, do not open your balcony door. Keep it locked. Because the winds are so powerful, you might not be able to close the doors, and your room will be sopping wet in 2 minutes if you open the door. So most passengers listen to the captain. And so we thought, well, let's try to go to get breakfast at the buffet, and we'll just have a little of this, a little of that. Maybe we'll grab a few things to bring back to the room. Maybe we'll see how we feel. I wanted at least a coffee. So we got out of the room and we're walking down the hallway, and the hallway is long and narrow. And we got both hands on the wall on both sides of the hall. And we get to the main middle part of the ship where the stairs and the elevators are. The elevators are closed. You want to go down, and you have to go down to walk across the concourse to get to the other side where the buffet was. So we had to go down, across, and then go up a few flights to the buffet. And we didn't make it we got to the concourse level, and that's as far as I got. I felt so ill. I thought, I can't drink a coffee. I couldn't suck a tomato right now. There's nothing I can do. I got to go back to the room. I'm going to be sick. And so we just crawled our way. Worked our way back. 10 minutes later, we were back in that room, and I stayed in bed for the day, the whole day, and I was exhausted. It was exhausting. I was just so tired. I just slept it off. And the next morning, we were hearing as the day went on, it's getting better, it's getting better. And then overnight, it's really going to calm down. And tomorrow we'll be down to 20-foot waves, and the winds will be 30 miles an hour. It's going to be much better. But by then we knew we were going to miss Labadee. It's going to be a sea day. Well, the next morning, the ship was going through 20-foot waves like nothing, and the elevators are running. Ship is wide open. You can go. I think they still had the pool deck closed because they had it roped off and stuff. But we went to the buffet, and I had a light breakfast. I was hungry, but I didn't overdo it. And I had some fruit and some tomato juice with salt, which is my stabilizer that works for me. Coffee, and just a little bit of bacon and eggs, just a little bit. And then during the day, it got better and better. And by lunch hour, I was starving. I was really hungry. We had a great meal. And then late in the day, they opened everything up. All the pools were running again. The jacuzzis were running. Everything was going. You could go anywhere you wanted because we were down to 15, 20-foot waves and 15, 20-mile-an-hour winds. No problem. And the ship just chugged along at about 15 knots for the next 24 hours. And the rest of the cruise was not a problem. When we got back, the last day of the cruise coming back, it was still breezy off the coast of Virginia and Pennsylvania. So, but it was child's play. We were hanging off the side of the ship, watching the waves come at it, and we're going, this is nothing. These are 30-footers, no problem at all. We were now veterans. Unbelievable. But yeah, that was something. That night, that first night, that was not fun. What can I say? So much fun. Sharon says 2013 was a horrible winter. We had a ton of major storms that year. I remember digging out 4 times before Christmas. Still had many storms after the new year. G.I. Lewis, is this an experiment in patience? I think we will win. Sharon, thinking of storms reminded me on our recent Oasis cruise. One of the on-demand movie choices was Triangle of Sadness. If you've seen that film, you'll understand that is not a film you want to watch on a cruise ship. Crazy stuff. Yikes. All right, let's move on to another story. The Bahamas. The government of the Bahamas, I mentioned this about 2 weeks ago, that they were going to impose a tourist tax for cruisers. You remember that? They're going from something like, I think from $12 to $18 a day up to $30 a day per cruiser coming into Nassau and Fremont. Apparently, they're going to triple. They're going to triple how much money they're going to bring in, from $50 million a year to $150 million a year in taxes. Now, I bring this to your attention for a couple of reasons. The first thing I want to mention is that tax is not going to come into play until January of 2024. So 6 months from now, they're going to start nailing everybody. So it'll be built into your cruise, into your fare. So when you book a cruise with whoever, you'll have those taxes and port charges extra. That's where this is going to be. The cruise line isn't going to be the one nailing you, but they're going to collect it on behalf of the Bahamian government. But get ready for the next shoe to fall, okay? Here's what's going to happen now, all right? You're going to hear about this all summer if you pay attention. If you've got your ears open, you'll hear about this. Get ready for Jamaica. Get ready for the Cayman Islands. Get ready for Barbados. Get ready for St. Thomas. Get ready for everybody else to up the fees for port charges for passengers. Because if the Bahamians are going to get away with it, everyone else is going to get in on it. And they're all going to use the same excuse. We are investing money in our ports. It's costing us a lot more money to put security on, to have the immigration services, to patrol our seas, all the usual. But they're not going to raise it 3 or 4% or 5%. These are going to be doubling of fees or more across the board. So get ready in the next 2 years. When you book a 7-day vacation on a cruise ship, you're going to find that the first thing you're going to notice is the cost of the cruise is much higher than you used to notice. The second thing you're going to notice is the daily gratuity charge on cruise ships is much, much higher. The third thing you're going to notice is the onboard charges. You want to buy a beer on a cruise ship, a light beer, you're talking $15. You want to buy a rye and Coke, $15-20 plus 20% surcharges minimum across the board. The drink packages have gone up. The onboard dining has gone up. It's all gone up. It's gone up everywhere. It's going to stay up. And now you're going to see those added port charges and fees, and you're going to be shocked when you begin to notice $400 add-ons. It's coming. I'm telling you, there's no avoiding it. The United States government's going to do it. The Homeland Security Department's going to up their fees. Customs, immigration, every country you visit, up with the charges, up. And the cruise lines you'll think the cruise lines are the enemy, and they're not. It's governments getting in on the act that are going to soak passengers to the wall for unbelievable charges. So a family of 4 on a cruise, they are going to think twice before they book a cruise in the future. I really think they're going to think twice because there are going to be questions whether or not you should fly to just Mexico to an all-inclusive resort. Should you just go to one country only for an all-inclusive stay? Should you avoid the Caribbean as a whole and head for Costa Rica for an all-inclusive? Should you go elsewhere? I don't know how we're going to avoid it myself, because I think everyone is in on it. It is going to become much more expensive to be a tourist. Tourist taxes. Europe is charging taxes. They're now looking to charge Americans, Canadians, and other country visitors to Europe a mandatory additional $7 or $10 per person for a so-called security enhancement fee. It's simply a cash grab. There is nothing else to it. The amount of taxes built in to an airplane ticket between New York and London or Frankfurt or LA, and it doesn't matter. It is becoming absolutely outrageous, and it will not end. There is no politician promising to eliminate it. It is built in, baked in, and it's going to get worse. I'm just warning you now. That's the story. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Tim Bowman. Last fall in Tasmanian Sea, we had a wave break over the Lido area, 10 decks above the waterline. It was impressive. Donnell. Hi, Sharon. It was another on-demand movie on that cruise, A Night to Remember, a very poor choice to watch at sea. Sharon, Donnell, I don't know that film, but I trust you on that one. Tim Bowman, we watched Captain Phillips on a cruise ship. Donnell, Sharon, no, the story of the sinking of the Titanic starring Kenneth Moore, a very famous black and white movie. Jason, cruising is already noticeably more expensive right now. The all-inclusive resorts are going to end up winning in the end, he thinks. Sharon, Tim, Lavalot, whenever I'm taking charge of where we're walking, I always tell Kevin, I'm the captain now. I'm the captain now. Donnell, Lavalot, almost my bad, as my heart will go on as a karaoke selection. Sharon, 51 thumbs ups, only 49 to go. Bruce, you are halfway to 100 thumbs ups already. We've only just started the show. This is awesome. JJ, how will port fees affect cruise lines like Virgin Voyages? Exactly the same. The port charges are going to hit Virgin Voyages just like anybody else. There will be no let up. It's going to be a tax nightmare. It's coming. I warn you. I'm warning you. Look for it. Okay. I noticed something else. Royal Caribbean announced that a cruise was canceled on the Explorer. Speaking of the Explorer of the Seas, A regular scheduled cruise has been canceled I think this fall on the Explorer of the Seas. Instead, the cruise line has sold the ship on a charter. And I found this interesting. I am finding it really interesting that cruises are getting canceled occasionally now. And I think more of this is coming your way. With less than 6 months to go, cruises are getting canceled out. They've been on, these cruises have been available for up to 2 years. People bought airplane tickets, made hotel reservations, perhaps arrived at the cruise port. I think in this case it's Rome, would have arrived to Rome as much as a week earlier to do a vacation, perhaps the Amalfi Coast, and then north, and then up to perhaps even in other areas of Rome, to catch a cruise for a week on this ship. And then after, some people would have flown right away, flown home, or others would have stayed another week to travel through other parts of Europe. Cruise lines are now finding that they're getting offers in some case they can't refuse, where it might be a corporate client coming to the cruise line saying, I have 3,500 employees that I want to treat to a vacation. What can you offer me? And these guys are going, when do you want the vacation? And they say, well, we're thinking of something in September out of Europe. I said, well, would you like the Explorer of the Seas for an entire week, the whole ship on a charter? Bottom line is they're getting double the money. So they are either going to have 3,800 passengers on the ship if they sold out. Maybe they only sold 2,500 spots. I don't know. Maybe 2,500 spots were sold, and many of those on discount. Here's a group coming in willing to take 3,500 people for double fare for the entire week. The cruise line is going to go, oh, we'll cancel this cruise in a heartbeat. We'll tell these folks, sorry, folks, the ship has been booked for something else. How about another ship on, right now, another ship somewhere else, or book forward or rebook next year. We don't give a crap about all your other plans. This is happening more often than you can imagine. It's happening on Norwegian as well, on some of the ships there. Kind of interesting thing. Larry, have you forgotten the $50 Bermuda was charging during COVID? They were charging $50 each to come in there. Isn't that something? All right, Explorer of the Seas cancels a cruise for a charter. Interesting. I talked to you about the Bahamas tripling their taxes. Now I'm going to talk about Rome. I'm going to talk about Rome again. Rome. Let me show you this photo just so you can get a point of reference. This is the port that you would use if you were coming in on a cruise ship to visit the city of Rome, or if you were starting a cruise from what we refer to as Rome. This is actually the port you would use. This is not Rome. This is Civitavecchia. I can't pronounce it. It's I've tried a million times to pronounce it. I can't pronounce it. It's about 50 miles north of Rome on the coast. This particular port made an announcement the other day that on June the 25th, yesterday, they had 6 cruise ships come in one day. 6 cruise ships came in one day to frequent this cruise port. 31,000 passengers used the port, Civiccia, or what it's called, in one day. Here's who's happy, okay? Here's who's happy. The government of Italy is delighted. The port is delighted. The cruise lines are mixed about it. Who's miserable? The passengers. Why would passengers be miserable with 6 cruise ships coming into one cruise port in one day? Mayhem. Complete and utter mayhem. You want to go on an 8-hour excursion to Rome? Jennifer Jr. and I were on a cruise ship, the Norwegian Jade. We came in. There were 2 other ships. We had a full day in Rome to go see the Colosseum, to go see an old church, many old churches. Went for a lunch at a restaurant in Rome, and then we went to the Vatican for the afternoon. And then we got a ride back to the ship, 50 miles in and out, and we got on our ship. We had three ships in that day, and we had maybe 10,000 passengers, 11,000. Yesterday, 31,000 passengers. You don't stay on the ship in Rome all day long and do nothing. We're talking about, well, look at this photo. I mean, is this a heavenly place to hang out for the day? Look at that place. There's a power plant just north there. I think that's north. Rail lines and container shipping. And it's not what we call all that romantic. I mean, look at the refineries over there, all those oil drums and stuff. This isn't what we call a romantic place to hang out in. You're going to get off that ship, man. You're getting off that ship. Now, Rome isn't the only excursion. You can be in Tuscany for the day. You can do other excursions. But here's the point. We're talking 6 ships. 31,000 people had to get off. 31,000 had to get back on. So can you imagine the mayhem in the morning and in the afternoon at that port? Absolute nightmare. Nightmare. There were people probably sitting in buses for hours waiting to get in and out of there. Not fun. Not fun. So the romanticism and the idea of going on a wonderful Mediterranean cruise. Oh, wouldn't that sound great? We can go here and see the Colosseum in Rome, and oh, won't that be great? We'll walk through the ruins of the old city, Isn't this the way to go? I don't think so. That's Malaga, by the way. I don't think so. This is hell on earth. This is mayhem, complete mayhem. 31,000 passengers in and out for the morning and the afternoon. Not this is getting worse, not better for cruise passengers. If you're at a resort on the Amalfi Coast and you're in a hotel with 100 guests and 25 staff and you're not moving, you're just, you got a pool, you got the sun deck, you got your loungers, you can get a massage, you can go for a tour if you want, rent a car, go for a little spin. A far cry from this craziness. Just mentioned the ships that were in port were the Costa Fortuna, MSC Seashore, that's 5,000 passengers. The Breakaway, that's almost 4,500 passengers. Oceana Vista, the Royal Caribbean Odyssey of the Seas, that's 5,000 plus. And the Viking Sea. I was surprised that the Viking Sea and the Oceania Vista would be there on that day with all those other passengers. Those 2 ships don't actually have to visit that big port. They can go into much smaller, discrete ports with the size of ships they have, but they ended up in Rome, man. Civiccia, is that the name of the place? Oh my God. I tell you, that's crazy. That's wild. Donnell says, I inquired about a room on a Royal Caribbean ship as a solo passenger, and they wanted me to pay a 150% surcharge. Does anyone else suspect they're not interested in solo travelers? Yes, sir. Sharon, Larry Blake, the entrance fee during COVID in Bermuda was for air passengers as well. $50 for air passengers. JJ, Civitavecchia. There you go. I've had people help me with this for 5-6 years. It doesn't work. Jason, that port looks like a concrete jungle. Oh, it is. It's a concrete jungle. Tim, Civitavecchia is the pronunciation. We stayed in the port for a week, and it was wonderful. Well, there you go. Tim, we always take the €5 train to and from Rome. We don't take the bus. There's something to be said about Tim Bowman. Tim might be onto something on this. I've kind of heard this before. I know that Jennifer Jr. and I, we had a wonderful visit in Rome for the day. The next day on that cruise that we were on, we ended up in the port that services Florence, and Pisa. And in the morning, we drove the bus to Florence and had the whole morning there, including lunch. Beautiful. And then we drove to Pisa to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa for the afternoon. And then we took the bus back to the ship, made it on time, no problem. And then the next day, the last full day of our Mediterranean cruise, we were in Villefranche. That's right near Nice, right by Monaco, Monte Carlo, and we took a half a day tour, bus tour to Monte Carlo, and we loved it. It was great. Got up first thing in the morning at, I think we were on the bus by 9 a.m. We were in Monte Carlo by 9:45. We left around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Back on the ship at 4. Fantastic. Loved it. Would love to spend some time there. Okay, let's move on to another story. The story came out today that Carnival released their financials, and you can hear this. You can hear the sirens in the background. That's what was happening on the market today. Carnival released their financials, and they revealed that they lost another $400 million in the last quarter, and they revealed that they're at 100% capacity and they're losing that kind of money. There is no quick turnaround for the cruise lines happening right now. And this explains so much of what I keep talking to you about regarding on board a cruise ship now. You're noticing things in your own travels. You've been mentioning to me. Some of you have mentioned how you've noticed the room steward doesn't come to your cabin anymore. They come only one time. You don't know what time they're coming. You go to breakfast. You come back from breakfast and your room is not done. You go to the pool. You come back. Your room is done. You have soiled towels. You dump them in the shower after you shower. Leave them all overnight. They're overnight. They stay there until the next day when the room steward comes, but once a day, to clean up. And it used to be the room steward would be there first thing in the morning. You get up and go to breakfast. The steward would be in your room, would make your beds, change out your towels, take out the garbage. You'd come back from breakfast. Your room is all made up. You would then change to go to the pool deck if it was a sea day, and you get your bathing suit on, you grab your towels, your morning coat, whatever you did, and up you went with your binoculars and your Walkman or your phone, whatever. And you'd be at the pool for 4 or 5 hours. And you'd snack up there and eat pizzas and hot dogs and hamburgers. You'd come back to your room, and the room would all be cleaned up again. Would all be nice and perfect. Ice would be in the ice bucket. You'd shower up. You'd get dressed for dinner. You'd go to dinner. You'd come back. All the towels were changed out again. Your bed was turned down. There was a chocolate on your pillow, and there was a towel animal in your room. And the lighting was on just for the night lighting. It was beautiful. Perhaps the curtain was closed on the balcony, whatever. They were in there. They were in there. And you went to bed. Next morning, same thing. Well, now it's once a day on some of these cruise lines. You've noticed that. You've noticed the higher tipping charges, 18 to 20% gratuity charge, mandatory on anything. The drink prices are higher. The drink packages are higher. Specialty dining costs higher, plus tipping. Now, some of you now are noticing dining room menus with one page of selections that are free of charge, no extra charge. But the next page, a la carte pricing, you're noticing that. There used to be specialty dining where you just paid $20 flat rate to go into the steakhouse. Now it's a la carte pricing. You want the filet mignon, it's more than if you want the New York strip steak, and so on. All different. It just goes on and on and on. The cruise lines are bleeding money. They are bleeding red ink. Carnival today announced their results. They're at 100% capacity. They're going to 110% capacity. They are bringing in families of 3 and 4 for inside rooms, ocean view cabins, rollaway cots are being brought in. I mean, they are packing. racking and stacking the passengers on these ships, which means for you, lineups, lineups to get into the buffet, lineups to get an ice cream cone, lineups at the cappuccino stand, lineups, specialty dining, reservations required for more and more activities on board ships. It just goes on and on and on. And more expensive onboard shopping, more expensive spa services, more expensive shore excursions. It doesn't end. And it's going to get higher and higher because these cruise lines are carrying billions upon billions of debt that they have to pay interest on. And interest rates are going up. The Bank of England just raised rates another 0.5 percentage point last week. So did Norway. So did Switzerland. Some of these loans originate from Europe. Some of these loans these cruise lines have originate in America. And the interest rates are going to rise in America this year again. Another 0.5 point, at least another 0.5 point. So the cruise lines are up against it. And so the president of Carnival announced today an announcement that they tried to put the spin on it as a progressive, smart corporate decision to run the cruise line even more efficiently and deliver a higher quality of product to the customers. And what did they do? They fired a bunch of guys. They offloaded an entire level of management at the high end. And now what they're doing is they're going to have the CEO of Carnival Corporation, the mother company, now will have the presidents of the cruise lines that Carnival has report directly to this individual on a regular basis. I guess what was going on was in the past, these presidents were having board meetings and were having operational get-togethers with their staffs, and then they would just update Carnival what was going on, and Carnival would sort of drop edicts from above to the presidents of the cruise lines. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. We want you to. Now it's no. Now it's hands-on. The CEO of Carnival Group is going to be the hands-on guy, overbearing on top of the presidents of these companies. And these guys have lost some buffer between the two. I wouldn't be surprised if between 5 and 10 senior vice presidents have been eliminated from existence. Millions of dollars of payroll have been eviscerated off the top end because the company is bleeding money. The cruise lines that have presidents are known as Carnival itself, Princess Cruise Lines, Ada Cruise Lines, Costa Cruise Lines, P&O, and Holland America. Cunard and Seabourn report, I believe, to P&O, and P&O reports now to the top guy. So they're trying to make it sound like we're becoming a much more efficient, well-run organization, when in reality, you want to know what's really going on? We're dumping people left, right, and center. We're dumping people on board cruise ships. We're getting rid of room stewards. We're making room stewards only come once to your cabin, and we're going to give each of them more cabins to look after. We're dropping the number of people on board cruise ships. It's happening across the board. Norwegian last week announced a shuffling and a imagining of onboard entertainment. What does that mean? They're dumping the New York Broadway shows that have cast members, large cast members. They're dumping orchestras and probably shifting into pre-recorded music. They're going with a DJ instead of 7 guys playing music. They are dumping the dancers and the singers to a degree, and they're cutting it back. It used to be that if Princess Cruise Lines would put on a bunch of entertainment for you in the main theater, the 7, they would have like 6 singers and 6 dancers, a cast of 12 to 14 people maybe. These folks would be in rehearsals for a full month, if not 2 months, in Los Angeles before they were assigned their next ship. And we're talking about all princess ships. How many are there? 12, 14? We're talking about troops and troops, groups and groups of performers that would have to be costumed out. They would have 5 costume changes per night, different costumes per evening on the ship. They might do 5 shows a week, and 2 nights they have guest performers coming in. Now I think it's going to be guest performers. I think that you're going to see magicians and comedians and maybe some singers. I'm not sure. I suspect what's happening is the reduction of staff to put the shows together, costume department for costumes, performances on ships is going to be much leaner, much cheaper, much less expensive. And don't be surprised if that's coming your way across the board. The heat is on. The heat is on these cruise lines. The fuel costs. Cruise ships are praying that oil keeps dropping in price. Just keep dropping. Please keep dropping, because they're going to want to get futures locked in. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's unreal what's going on. Let's see here. I have a video, JJ. I have a video, May 2013, on the Epic. An army of tour coaches lined up beside the ship in the morning, awaiting passengers for excursions. Tim Bowman, we missed the chocolate. Jason, room service fees are absurd. JJ, just emailed you my video from May 2013. Thank you. Sharon, for what it's worth, Oasis felt a little understaffed on our recent cruise. It was our 3rd cruise on the ship since 2019. And for the first time, I felt the service was falling a bit short. There it is. I actually didn't mind the once-a-day room service. It was nice coming back to room during the day and not having to worry whether it was being made up. True, but yeah, there's signs. The food was the first indicator, even 5 years ago. Starting 5 years ago, the quality of some of the selections just wasn't there anymore. I got the commentary. I was reading something last week about somebody was complaining about the lineup just to get a hamburger at Guy Fieri's burger stand on a Carnival cruise. The lineup took 15 minutes to get a burger. It was insane. A hamburger, a hot dog and a pizza is exactly what the cruise line is praying you want to eat. They're praying that you eat pizza. Please eat pepperoni pizza. Please eat cheese pizza. You are saving us a fortune. Please don't eat lobster. Don't eat filet mignon. Don't eat the good stuff in our dining room. Come and eat the cheap stuff on board. You are really doing us a favor with hot dogs and burgers. But the lineups were apparently ridiculously long. Surprise. All right. There's all the talk I have about cruising and what's going on there. It's quite something. And that storm I was telling you about, those of you who missed it, look at these photos here. Look at this photo of this chair coming down from the upper deck to the lower deck. That woman carrying that little baby girl in her arms and pulling a stroller. Thankfully, there is not a baby in the stroller, because this is the next picture. The chair crashed into the stroller she was pulling. Thankfully didn't hit her. It was unbelievable. Look at the picture on the right. There's another lounger flying off the upper deck. This was the Independence of the Seas. Absolute nightmare to start a cruise. People were crawling along the upper deck where the jogging track was. Look at the left there, trying to get by. They were being blown over by the wind. There's a freak storm. And here, as a few minutes later, people were, they had now sheltered inside. There was no warning from the captain that this was coming. Nobody had the warning. Afterwards, people were cleaning up, and some people were needing medical attention for scrapes and cuts. Unbelievable that there wasn't carnage on that. That was wild. All right. How about a couple of cruises to consider? I found a couple of cruises that you might want to take a look at. that might interest you. Hang on one second. Let me just get this photo figured out here. Where am I? Don't mind me. Oh, there we are. We're okay. Back to the comment section. Um, I found a couple of cruises that might interest you. The first cruise is on the MSC ship known as the Magnifica, and I think I have some photos of the Magnifica. Yeah, here it is, right here. Here's a shot of the Magnifica. This ship is about 13 years old. This is kind of what these, you remember all the Carnival ships and all the Holland America ships and a lot of the Princess ships. This is what they looked like from 2000 to 2012 to 15. They all look like this here as well. They have their deck up at the top there, and then the pool deck. This is what cruise ships used to look like. That's what this one is. It has a covered area as well to handle, lousy days, so they can retract the roof and you can be indoors. But anyway, how would you like a cruise in a balcony cabin on this cruise ship? This is the entertainment area, by the way. A kind of nice looking place. Nice looking. This cruise ship is going on an itinerary that I found that starts in Valencia, Spain. And this cruise begins on October the 28th. You have lots of time to plan this cruise. It's a repositioning cruise from Valencia all the way to Miami, Florida. But look at the stops you get here. You go from Valencia to Tarragona to Toulon and to Genoa and to Rome. There's that Civita Vecchia port in Rome. Then Palma de Mallorca, then to Malaga. This is Malaga, by the way. First of all, here's Rome. You know what that looks like. Here's another shot of Rome. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this day straight trip. Here is Malaga. Fantastic. Jennifer Jr. and I were here. Beautiful place. You end up continuing on from here. Where am I? Going back to that map. Pardon me. Here we go. Okay, you leave Malaga. You end up in Funchal, Madeira Islands, and then the Canary Islands. So right off the get-go, you start Valencia, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stops all the way to Santa Cruz in Tenerife before you cross the Atlantic for 5 days. Then you get into Phillipsburg, that I believe is Saint Martin, I think. Rotown, I'm going to check the itinerary for it. It's right here, if I'm not mistaken. Is this it right here? Or is it right here? There it is. You leave Santa Cruz on November the 8th. You have 6 sea days, I guess. San Martin on Wednesday, November 15th. Tortola, British Virgin Islands on November 16th. Then Friday and Saturday, you're in San Juan, Puerto Rico for 48 hours. Then you have a sea day, and you end up Monday, the 20th of November in Miami, Florida. This cruise on this ship to these different ports, this is a fantastic cruise. How much is it? Let me show you a deal. How about not this one? How about this one right here? The Magnifica, 23 nights, inside room, $629. Brochure, Ocean View. The Ocean View, $889. Balcony, $889 for 23 nights. Are you kidding me? Almost 4 weeks. And then you want a brochure, still $3,000, so that's a little more normal. But how about that balcony cruise for $889? You got to pay extra for drinks. So what? The room is free. I mean, come on, $889 for almost 4 weeks. We're talking $220 a week. $220 a week. I mean, come on, that is a deal. You end up in Puerto Rico here, by the way. There's Puerto Rico. That is the fort that you slip by there, and then towards the right side, the port is just behind there. That's where the cruise ships park. Wow, this is something. If you've been in Europe for a good vacation, can you imagine being a college student and taking a year off all summer, traveling in Europe with a backpack, and then you end up in Valencia, Spain in October, and you're coming back to America to land in Miami on the 20th of November. You know, that is a pretty nice July, August, September, October, November getaway. Can you imagine a young couple traveling, or two pals, two guys, two gals, getting away on a trip like that, ending up in Miami and then working their way home from that? Not shabby. Or how about this cruise right here? Sorry for it being blurry. It's a lousy resolution. This is on the MSC Magnifica. No, this is the MSC Seashore. Pardon me. This is the Seashore, and I don't have a photo of it handy. But you're going to start this cruise in Genoa, Italy, on the 28th of October. You're going to end up in Port Canaveral on November the 20th. This also is a 23-night cruise. You go from Genoa to Marseille, France, to Barcelona. Couple of days at sea. You end up in Santa Cruz, Tenerife, then in Canary Islands. You cross the Atlantic, but here's where it gets really interesting. Rather than crossing the Atlantic on the 9th of November and the 10th of November, and then ending up in, maybe Miami and it's all over, you end up doing this additional set of cruises for 10 more days. You end up in Saint Martin on November 10th, Tortola on the 11th, November 12th and 13th, San Juan, Puerto Rico, November 14th at sea, November 15th, Miami, November 16th, Port Canaveral, November 17th, Nassau, November 18th, Ocean City Marine Reserve in the Bahamas. That's our private island. Then a sea day on Sunday, November 19th. And now you get back to Port Canaveral and finish off your cruise. How about that for a vacay? So instead of seeing Europe first and then ending up in North America, no, you see a little bit of Europe, but you head over to the Caribbean and you see the Caribbean at the end. 10 days Caribbean cruise. How much is this one? The Seashore, they only have balcony or suites available. The balcony, $1,559 for 23 nights. That's a good deal. And $2,700 for a suite. Still at $1,559, you're still only talking $600 a week for this. Not even $600 a week. What am I saying? $400 a week for this cruise if you're on that ship. Not a bad itinerary to end up with that one. If you end up in a balcony room on the Magnifica, you're in this ship right here, surrounded with these surroundings. Not too bad. 23 nights with a lot of stops. This has got to be a pretty good bargain here. This Magnifica cruise. You want to see Europe? There you go. And get a little Caribbean at the end. Too bad. I thought that was worthy of your deep consideration. You never know. The price is right on that. On that first cruise, the price is unbeatable. I wouldn't even think of an inside room for $600. Spend $200 more and get the balcony. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. Not too bad. Anyway, there you go. There's a thought for you. Now, how are we doing on the thumbs ups meter? 61. Oh man, this is great. We usually are struggling to get to 45, 50 by the time this time around rolls around. But thank you everybody for 61 thumbs ups today. Very appreciative of that. We have 60 of you watching. Thank you for being here today. I hope you didn't mind today's show. Like I said, we talked about the storm off of Port Canaveral for the Independence of the Seas. What a mess. The Explorer of the Seas going all with a charter instead of canceling a cruise less than 6 months to go. Unbelievable. They went for the money. Tripling the taxes in the Bahamas. They're going to do that Jan 1, tripling the taxes for cruise passengers from the Bahamas. Get ready for the rest of the Caribbean to go nuts. They're going to do it. 6 ships at once in Rome. Not a good idea, but they did it. It's 31,000 passengers in one day. And then Carnival cost cuts continue right at the top now, right to the senior level, right at the top. The cuts are happening. It's crazy. Tim Bowman, you know those itineraries? I think I'll take cruise number 1, Bruce. I think for the price, for 800 something bucks for a balcony, you can't go wrong. Yeah, that's a deal of deals. Now, if you can do these excursions on your own without paying for them, you can do that. If you're a backpacker, you're young, oh God, you don't need excursions. Go. You can have a lot of fun. I bet you, if you were on that ship with a backpack and a friend, You're going to meet other backpackers on that cruise. And you guys, there's going to be 4 and 6 of you getting together. You'll find an Uber with a van. You'll get a guy or a girl with an Uber. You'll book it for the whole day, $20 each, and you're going to have a great time. I'm sure of it. I am sure of it. That's a pretty cool cruise right there. Yeah. Boy, if you're in your 20s and 30s, what a great itinerary to take on a 23-night cruise. Not bad. I'm sure mom and dad are counting the days. You land in Miami, catching a plane to come home. I'm sure they'll have missed you since June, July, but still, that is a wonderful thing. And to have 23 nights on a cruise for parents who have kids on that, college kids on that cruise, no worries. 23 days are safe. They've got their room on board that ship every night, coming back home every bit. That's pretty cool. Larry Blake, I am number 61. Thank you, Larry, so much. Jason, what are the chances that Carnival is going to start selling off brands? I think what could happen is the possibility. It's possible. I mean, they might sell off P&O and Cunard, but then again, they might merge others together. They might do that. I don't know. I don't ultimately know. Tim, unfortunately, we're on another cruise. Maybe next year after Motorcycle Europe at age 78, we'll do it. Oh, man, Tim, you're a rebel. You are a rebel without a cause. Oh, my gosh. I gotta love it. You gotta love it. Don't get old on me, kids. Stay young. I'm going to try to stay as young as I can for as long as I can. Hopefully you'll do the same. Folks, thank you, everyone, for being here today. I love having you here. It's great to see you every week. Have a great week coming up, and stay healthy for me. We'll see you next Monday, and we'll put together some more stories and ideas here at Cruise News and some deals that we can find. We'll keep you posted on what's going on. We'll keep you posted about our trip. Jennifer and I are going to be in New York City on October the 20th for a meet and greet for this channel, and we're going to see how many folks want to show for that. We're going to talk about it a lot more in the coming weeks. We don't know how many of you are coming. We just don't know. We have 2 channels: Stock Markets with Bruce, Traveling with Bruce, and the Stock Markets with Bruce people. I am putting together a particular group get together that's going to be expensive for those folks to come out, but they're coming to kind of a financial presentation get together, stock market chat type thing. For this channel, TWB, it's a hangout. We're going to try to put together a hangout. I just don't know how many of you are going to come out and how we're going to do this, but we're going to talk to Tom Henry, and we're going to talk to some of you going forward the next few weeks. We'll compare notes, and we'll see what we can do about how many might show up in New York. And that will tell me what kind of gathering we're going to have, because at the moment, I do not know what's going to happen. Sharon, have a great night. Love to Jen. Stephen Butler, thanks, Bruce and Jen. Karen, great show. Thank you, Bruce. Sharon, we're going out of town October 21, but we can pop into the city on the 20th. And Pete Haskins, thanks again, Bruce. Thank you, Pete, and everybody. Folks, stick around the next week. Join me again. 66 thumbs ups are in. This is awesome. Thank you for 66 today. Join me next week. We'll talk more about this New York get-together, and we'll do some plotting and planning and scheming and see what's going to happen. Hopefully we can put you guys together. Jason, I put you first on my Monday night entertainment. Have a great week. Thank you, Jason, so much for that. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the warm weather if you get it. I hope it's smoke-free. And we'll see you here next Monday live from Calgary. And we'll get together then. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Donnell, take care, buddy. Enjoy the show. Have a good night, pal. Get some good required sleep. Thank you, Robert, as well, for your kind words. All right, everybody. Have a great evening. All the best to all of you. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.